Today we're going to focus on observing data usage, and more specifically on data usage analytics. Let me get started by giving our definition for data usage analytics. For our purposes, data usage analytics are visual charts and graphs that answer questions about how sensitive data in your Snowflake database is being used. Let's first take a look at Snowflake data usage analytic capabilities. What we're looking at here is the results of a select statement against Snowflake's query history view. This view provides a historical record of every query executed against any database within this instance of Snowflake. The building of this view is automatic, and Snowflake keeps the records for 1 year. Now there's a lot of useful information captured for each query. You can see all the fields that are captured in this panel on the left. You'll see things like the full text of the query string the database and warehouse used, the data and time the query was started, the username and the role used for query, and much, much more. However, in this raw data format, there's a good deal of processing that still has to be done to turn this into visual analysis that can be used by business users who don't know SQL or they don't have any other coding skills. For example, the SQL query text is unstructured, and so it will have to be parsed to extract a list of columns that were requested, and then filtered to only include the columns that contain sensitive data. This requires the ability to write SQL statements. Next, the count of records returned to each user has to be tabulated for each minute, each hour, and each day of the past 24 hours. This would require further SQL coding. Finally, the resulting processed data set has to be integrated with an interactive visual chart that presents the information simply so the user can see results and drill through with just a few clicks. This would require full stack development skills to implement. If we switch to ALTR, we can see that ALTR does all this processing for you. This visualization is ALTR's built-in data usage heat map. The heat map is automatically populated for any Snowflake data column you connect to ALTR. ALTR's built-in data classification can tell you which data columns contain sensitive information. So you only need to add the columns you want ALTR to track by clicking on the Add Data button. From this point forward, any activity on that column by any Snowflake user is tracked and will show up in the data usage heat map. You can also have ALTR import the previous 30 days worth of query history from Snowflake to give you a head start. Now let's dig deeper into the data usage heat map. This view summarizes the number of records consumed for each column of sensitive data by each Snowflake role over the past 7 days. You can switch to 30 days if you want. The roles are shown in the y-axis on the left-hand side, and the sensitive columns are on the x-axis across the top. The cell at the intersection of a role and a column indicates the total number of records consumed by the role for that column. You can hover the mouse over a cell to get the total count. Clicking on the cell drills down to show a breakdown of access by each day of the past week or month, depending on what level you've selected. You can further filter this view to see an individual user's total access on a particular day. This heat map presents answers to the questions we mentioned at the beginning. Answers to those questions give you the basic facts you need to meet key data security goals. For example, ensuring 100% sensitive data coverage, which means you have policies that are enforced by ALTR for every role that accesses sensitive data. Also, alerting when a user is consuming more data than what is normal for the role. These visualizations give you the data required and the input required to set up these policies. So, to summarize, we've seen that Snowflake provides the functional data required for data usage analytics, but the data is in a raw, unprocessed form, and so it's not immediately available for use by non-technical users. ALTR builds on the query history foundation by providing an automatically populated visual data usage heat map, which has drill through to details at the individual user level. This information can be used to ensure that your data security policies cover all types of users accessing sensitive data, and to identify when consumption of sensitive data goes beyond normal usage.